Hey, Justice Warriors. I just wanted to come on real quick here and make you guys a video. It's Friday afternoon. It's the 19th of May. It's going to be an interesting weekend, and then Monday with we'll see what happens in court with the Idaho 4 case. So let me ask you to please hit that like button if you'd be so kind, and share, subscribe, ring your notification bell if you like to be notified. What's most important, in my opinion, is justice for these victims, justice for these families, and true justice, of course. There's been so many things in this case that have been pretty crazy from go, and I don't even know where to begin with it. Just the misinformation. Uh, you guys remember the movie Napoleon Dynamite? Are you aware that Napoleon Dynamite is supposedly in a small town in Idaho? I find that interesting because Napoleon Dynamite was such a goofy movie, so funny in so many ways, and very oddball. And I wonder how much of that is Idaho culture, just oddball. If you look at that state geographically, the entire center of the state is mountains and forest. All of the towns and cities are like on the edges of the state border. It's very fascinating. We know that it's unique for out of all of the 50 states in the United States of America. It is by far and away the most libertarian, and they do things their own way. This whole grand jury indictment was extremely unique. And yes, they do have the right to do that as their own state. However, we need justice for these families, and we need to respect the presumption of innocence until proven guilty in a court of law. And a grand jury didn't do that. It's just setting it up to do that. So these are some of the craziest facts, I think. Law enforcement saying that some random gas station employee a couple of weeks into this case was able to figure out that this one white car speeding by the A&W surveillance camera might have been our perp. Really? Some random gas station employee? It's bizarre. Equally bizarre, in my opinion, is the 12 hours or so that the federal authorities lost track of the criminal defendant when he left Washington State with his father for the road trip to Pennsylvania. And they said that they didn't know where the vehicle was for, I think, close to 13 hours until it showed up on a license plate reader in Colorado. If this person is that dangerous, that's insane. Anything could have happened during that time. So, something I'd never thought of until last night or this morning. Tell me if you guys have thought of this. Leave me a comment. Is Murphy the dog? Is he chipped? If he is, would that have real specific information as far as where he was walking around on the property? It's just something that I couldn't believe I'd never thought of it. Also, you guys are probably familiar with the eye in the sky, and federal authorities have the ability to pretty much see anything that they want to see from satellites, and they can even see inside buildings, like up to 6 feet inside of a window. So these are things that the government doesn't like to talk about because a lot of citizens think it is a violation of their privacy and civil rights. So they don't like to talk about the eye in the sky, but it's very real. So the case that I've brought up many times, and I'm going to put a link in the description, of Roger Dean Gillispie, who's the Ohio man who served over 20 years in prison for kidnapping and essays that he did not commit. And he was exonerated 11 years ago by DNA. And then he just won a $45 million jury award in a federal court this past November of 2022. So Roger Dean Gillispie was 100% set up by law enforcement. And it was actually two different counties. So that requires a lot of coordination. That wasn't just like one police department with one bad guy. It was a much bigger conspiracy against him. And why? I don't know. Roger Dean Gillispie, he's obviously not the only one that something like that has happened to. I'm sure most of us are familiar with Stephen Avery from the Netflix series, and I think a lot of people believe that Stephen Avery is guilty. A lot of people believe that he's not guilty. I'm kind of split. I think that he's guilty of some things, but I also think that his cousin's husband, that was the sheriff, set him up for some of these things. So it's a very convoluted case. But, you know, the whole thing with the perception of the criminal defendant not only being guilty, but having made the craziest, stupidest, most asinine mistakes. And then being an incel to top it off is just, to me, adding insult to injury. It's just the overkill. Like the 20,000 pieces of evidence that they say that they have, and not a single one of them is exculpatory evidence. I have a lot of trouble believing that. I have had an opportunity to watch the videos, or the video, there's a couple actually, of Kaylee Gonzalez's father speaking with the person whose name we shall not say, AB initials, and he seems like he's not sure about how this whole thing is going. He's trying to have faith. He's trying to trust law enforcement. But man, he looks so stressed out to me. Just the worry on across his forehead, like the furrow in his brow. And, you know, he's got a new mustache beard thing, so his face looks pretty different. But he's got such stress and emotion in his face. And of course he does. Absolutely, of course. And to me, that's the most important thing to focus on, is how the families feel about the whole thing. We want justice. We absolutely want justice. So I just feel very somber about the whole thing. I'm going to wrap it here, and I did not do my disclaimer. Everything I say is simply my opinion, simply for the sake of conversation, hoping to open up a discussion, have an intelligent conversation, learn something, be educational. All my videos are made specifically for YouTube, and that's an entertainment platform. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. It's probably going to be a super busy weekend for me. I will be trying to do at least 1 or 2 videos over the weekend, and then getting right back to it on Monday. So I hope you have a fabulous weekend. I hope you can get a lot of rest and relaxation, hang out with your family and friends, do some good self-care, get your exercise, eat well, drink your water, eat, pray, love, produce, protein, be kind, be respectful, and sending you light, sending you love. Peace out. Thanks again.